Hello, welcome back. I hope that you guys had a great week off for spring break. I know you probably didn't get to go anywhere fun or anything like that, like a vacation or whatever, but you at least didn't have to do any schoolwork, maybe, if you're caught up. But we are starting with week 5, and this week I want to talk a little bit about our Bible verse. Our Bible verse for the week is 2 Corinthians 5:17, and it says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old is gone, the new is here." Okay? So how many of you have ever gotten something new before? Probably lots of you, like a new toy or a new clothes or a new game or whatever. Getting new things is really fun, right? And a lot of times when we get new things, we can throw the old thing away or give the old thing away or hand it down to someone else. And so we're talking about new and old, but we're not talking about new and old in that sense of the word. We're talking about new and old inside of our heart. And we're talking about when Christ comes in, he does something new in our heart. And he says that we're a new creation. All right. And so in your story today, you're going to learn about Nicodemus. And Nicodemus, if you watch the video, the Bible story video already, then you know what happens. But Nicodemus was a leader in the Jewish religion, and he was a Pharisee, and so he just thought that the rules, like all you had to do was follow the rules and do everything right, and then that God would be pleased with that. Well, when he meets Jesus, he actually has to go secretly and meet him because he knew that the Pharisees would he would get in trouble if he was meeting this man who claimed he was the Messiah. And so he meets Jesus, and Jesus kind of breaks apart or breaks down everything that he thought he knew about who the Messiah was, the coming Messiah was. And he tells Nicodemus that in order to be a follower of Christ, that you have to be born again. And Nicodemus is really troubled by that because it just doesn't make sense in his mind. And so he really struggles with that. And Jesus, while he's talking to Nicodemus, tells him that you have to be born again, and that God sent his son, Jesus, that's me, the Messiah, to forgive us and save us from our sin. And it's really just hard for Nicodemus to kind of understand. And he really had to believe and have faith. And so our verse this week talks about that when we believe that Jesus is who he says he is, and he does we believe that he came to do what he said he was going to do, that we become a new creation on the inside. The old is gone and the new is here. So that's what how that verse kind of ties to our story about Nicodemus. So if you haven't watched the Bible video yet that I sent you, please watch it, and I hope that you learn a little bit more about Nicodemus. All right, today is week 5, and it is Monday. It's the first day of our 5th week at virtual learning. Can't believe it. But today for math, we're talking about making change. Now, when you go to the store to buy something and you give the person cash, if you give them too much cash, they would in turn give you back the difference. That is called your change. So let's say you were going shopping for your mom because Mother's Day is coming, and you wanted to buy her a coffee mug. Well, the coffee mug that you bought her cost $6. Well, let's say that you didn't have exactly $6. You just had a $10 bill. So if you gave the woman or the store clerk $10, you would give her too much, right? Because your mug was only $6. Well, she's going to give you back change. She's going to give you back the difference between what you gave her and how much the mug actually costs. So if your mug cost $6 and you gave her $10, how much change would you get back? Well, to figure that out, you're going to subtract. So we're looking at the difference. So anytime we're looking at the difference, we're always going to subtract. So we would subtract $10 minus $6. And so what is 10 minus 6? 4. So the change you would get back is $4. So if we're thinking about that mug, did you have enough money to get the mug? Yes. All right. Did you pay them too much money for the mug? Yes, you gave them 10. So they gave you the change back, and that was 4. So anytime we want to figure out how much change we're going to get, we're going to take the amount of money that we give them and subtract how much the item cost. So I want you to look at your paper. We're on page 290. We're on your math sheet, page 290. Press pause, grab your math sheet if you need to. All right, so let's look at page 290. Grandma and Grandpa drove the children up Trail Ridge Road, where there is a snack and gift shop near the top of the mountain. How much change did each person receive? So let's look. Look at A. It said they had $5, and the first person spent $3. So how much change did they receive? Well, we're going to subtract. $5 minus $3 equals $2. Look at B. The next person had $15, but they spent $11. So what was their change? Well, we're going to subtract 15 minus 11. So what is 15 minus 11? $4. We don't have any cents. We just are looking at your dollar bills. Look at C. The first person, that person had $20. Wow. And they spent 17. How much change would they receive? So we're going to subtract 20 minus 17. I'm going to give you an easy way to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to count up to solve that. So we're going to start at 17, 18, 19, 20, and the difference is $3. All right. Look at number 2. On the next one, they give you the amount that they spent, and they ask for, and they give you the amount they spent, and they give you the amount the item costs, but you have to subtract. So they don't put it in a nice little subtraction problem for you. So if you need out to the side, you need to write out, you can. So look at number 2, part A. It says Jenny paid $10 for a book that cost $6. Jenny paid $10 for a book that cost $6. So what 2 numbers are we going to subtract? We're going to subtract 10 and 6. If you can't do that in your head, you can always write it out. So we start with how much she had. She had $10. How much was the book? $6. How much change did she get? Well, what is 10 minus 6? 10 minus 6 is 4. So her change was $4. Look at letter B. Grandpa paid $20 for a hat that cost $15. He paid $20 for a hat that cost $15. So how much change is Grandpa going to get? Well, we're going to subtract our 2 numbers. Remember, when we subtract, our biggest number goes on top. So $20 is what he had, minus 15. And what is 20 minus 15? It's 5. Very good. Number 3, you have some practice with expanded form. The gift shop and visitor center is 10,000 plus 1,000 plus 700 plus 90 plus 8 feet above sea level. So what is that number? Well, you're going to start 10,000. So what is 10,000 plus 1,000? That would be what? 11,000. Okay, and then we go to our, so we have our 10,000s, our thousands. Now we're going to our hundreds. So we have 700. How many tens do we have? We have 90, which is the same as what? 9 tens plus 8 So your number should have been 11,798. And look at B. B, they use those star cards like we use in class, and you have to tell me how many feet above sea level is the highest point. So go through your place values. Start with count your stars. How many 10,000, how many thousands, how many hundreds, tens, and ones. So what would your number be? Your number should be, check it, 12,183. Okay. I want you to flip-flop your page over. On page 289, you're going to do that page. It's a review of lots of skills that we've been working on. So I want you to do page 289 by yourself, and then you will be finished with math for today. All right, it is week 5 and it is Monday. We are on lesson 145 for phonics, and we are doing page 289 and page 290. So you want to get that page out and have it ready, but first of all, we're going to do a little bit of reviewing. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think about those special sounds. We haven't really talked about those special sounds in a while, but I want you to think of all the special sounds that you can think of that say okay? Can you think of any that say What you got? You have of first, right? In what? Nurse. In verse. In were. You have the one that's were, W-O-R. In E-A-R, good. The E-R, that's the suffix, right? You have in sailor, and you have in dollar. Lots of them have that sound in them. All right. Now I'm going to give you a noun. Remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing, and I want you to give me an adjective that would describe that noun. So if I said teddy bear, what adjective could you use to tell me how the teddy bear looks, how it feels? Okay, so if I said teddy bear, what could you tell me about a teddy bear? The what? The soft teddy bear? The brown teddy bear? Big teddy bear? What about a tree? What adjective could you give me to describe a tree? The what tree? The short tree? The apple tree? The tall tree? Good. Remember, adjectives are words that tell about nouns. Now, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to give you a sentence, and I want you to tell me if it is how you can say it correctly. So if I said, "Can I please see that book?" Is that how I say that? I don't say, "Can I please see the book?" I say, "May I please see the book?" What about Micah sitted in that chair yesterday? Micah sitted in that chair yesterday. Is that how I say that? No, what would I say instead? Micah sat in that chair yesterday. Abby learned me to make a paper airplane. Abby learned me to make a paper airplane. Is that correct? No, what is it? Abby taught me. Very good. We eated our lunch early today. We eated our lunch early today. How could I say that correctly? We ate our lunch early today. Very good. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug my computer in. Hang on, because I don't want it to die in the middle of our lesson. I'm going to give you an action, And then I'm going to tell you how you're going to do that action. So you can get up from your computer or your screen and do it. So remember, when we talk about a word that describes a verb and it answers 3 questions, how, when, and where, we are talking about an adverb. Okay, an adverb tells about a verb. Okay, it modifies a verb. So it answers how, when, or where. So if I told you run, how am I going to tell you, how will you run? I want you to run slowly. Can you run slowly? It's like slow motion, right? How did you run? Slowly. Now I want you to get up and I want you to walk. But I want you to walk quickly. Can you walk quickly? Show me how you walk quickly. Fast, right? You would do it fast. Now I want you to hop. Except I want you to hop quietly. How are you going to hop? Quietly. So you're going to hop like a little quiet bunny. Right? So those words that described how you did something are called adverbs. So let's look up here at our sentences. We have some sentences on the board. I'm going to slide this forward a little bit. It says, number 1, the campfire burned brightly. The campfire burned brightly. I want you to find your verb here. What is your verb in this sentence? It's your action word. So what is your verb? The campfire burned brightly. Well, what's our sentence about? Campfire, and what is our campfire doing? It burned. So burned is our verb, so we would underline it twice. What word tells how our campfire burned? What word tells how our campfire burned? Our campfire burned how? Brightly. Remember, when you're looking for an adverb, it's often going to be found near the verb, okay? So you're going to look at the word that's closest to the verb, okay? How did it burn? It burned brightly. Look at the second one. Dad quickly swept the tent. Dad quickly swept the tent. Who's our sentence about? Dad. So that's our subject. What did Dad do? Dad what? He swept. So swept is our verb. Now, how did Dad sweep? How did he sweep? He swept how? Quickly. So quickly is our adverb. Number 3, we slept soundly until morning. We slept soundly. Who or what's our sentence about? We, right? We, so that's our subject. What did we do? We slept. So slept is our verb. We're going to find our verb. Now, once we find our verb, we're going to ask how. How did we sleep? We slept how? Soundly. So soundly is our adverb. And the last one, the river noisily rushed down the mountain. So what's our sentence about? A river, right? What did our river do? What's the action word? Where's our verb? Our river rushed. Now, how did our river rush? It rushed how? Noisily. Very good. It rushed how? It rushed noisily. All right, we're going to do some more of this on our phonics page. So what I want you to do is I want you to turn to your phonics page 289. Page 289. You have some sentences on your page. Step number 1 says, read the sentences. Draw 2 lines under each verb. So you're going to do exactly what we just did. Find the verb and draw 2 lines. Now, draw 1 line under each subject. Remember that some sentences might have more than one subject. So remember, our subject is who. who or what. The third one, find and draw boxes all around the nouns, even the subjects. And number 4, look at the nouns and draw a circle around each adjective. Draw a small arrow from that adjective to the noun it describes. And number 5, look at the verbs and draw a circle around each adverb. Draw a small arrow from the adverb to the verb it describes. So I know this sounds like a lot, but it's not really. We're just going to break it apart in steps. So let's look at the first one. The first sentence is, Ben quickly ate the red apple. I'm going to write it up here, and you're going to look at it on your paper. Whoops. Okay, Ben quickly ate the red apple. So let's go to the first sentence. It says, draw 2 lines under the verb. So what did Ben do? He ate. So we're going to draw 2 lines under ate. Now, the number 2 says, draw 1 line under each subject. So who's our sentence about? Ben. So we're going to underline Ben 1 time. Find and draw boxes all around the nouns, even the subject. So what's our nouns in our sentence? Well, we know that Ben is a noun, because it's the subject. What else is a noun in our sentence? Person, place, or thing. Apple. Now we're going to look for our adjectives. So our adjectives tell about a noun. So let's look. I have Ben and I have apple. Do I have any adjectives describing Ben? No. Go to apple. Do I have any adjectives that describe apple? What kind, which one, or how many? What kind of apple? The red apple. So I'm going to circle red, and I'm going to draw an arrow to the noun that it describes. So red describes an apple. So I'm going to draw an arrow. Now I'm going to find my adverbs. Remember, where do I go to find an adverb? I go by the verb. The adverb answers how. It asks how. So I go to my verb, ate. How did Ben ate or eat? He ate what? He ate how? Quickly. So I'm going to circle quickly. And because quickly tells about my verb. So I'm going to draw an arrow from quickly to my verb because it tells how I ate. So you see, it's not that hard. It's just you have to go step by step by step. Okay, so you're finding the verb, you're finding the nouns, the subject, you're finding the nouns, you're finding the adverbs. All right, let's go to number 2. Number 2, the small boy said the Bible verse perfectly. Okay, so let's look at our sentence. The first step, we're gonna draw a line under the verb. So what's happening in our sentence? What's our action? What is our person or thing doing? Said. So said is our verb. Now I'm gonna find the subject. Who said? Who's this? What's the subject? Boy. Boy is my subject. Okay. Who's doing the same? Boy. Now, I'm going to go through my sentence and I'm going to find all my nouns, even if it's a subject. So my noun, well, we know boy is a noun because subjects are nouns. What else is a noun? Verse would be a noun. It would be a thing, right? Any more nouns? Okay, I know you're going to want to say Bible, but in this instance, Bible is not a noun, and I'll show you why in just a second. All right, now we're going to number 4. Look at the nouns and draw a circle around the adjective. So let's go to the nouns. Boy. What kind of boy? The small boy. So that's our adjective, and it describes small, describes boy, so we're going to draw an arrow to it. Here's our other noun, verse. Okay, this is why I said Bible's not a noun. Watch. What kind of verse? A Bible verse. So Bible is actually in this sentence is an adjective. So I have it drawn separately, so I'm going to have to do it this way. But Bible tells me what kind of verse, not just a regular verse, but a Bible verse. So Bible is actually an adjective. Now, let's go to our verb. Because we're looking for an adverb. And if we're looking for an adverb, we have to go by the verb. So your verb is said. Said how? Perfectly. So perfectly is your adverb. And it describes how he said it. So you would draw an arrow to said. Okay, I know this is kind of tricky, but that's okay. Let's do the next one. It says, the huge lion walked proudly. All right, so the first step, we are going to read the sentences and draw 2 lines under the verb. What's our action word there? Walked, right? Who or what did the walking? That's our subject. Lion, so we're going to draw 1 line under there. Now, we're going to go through and we're going to find our nouns. Well, we know that lion is a noun because it's a subject, so we're going to draw a box around it. Let's look. Are any of these other words nouns? The, nope. Huge, nope. Walked, nope, that's a verb. Proudly, nope. So that's the only noun we have. So if that's the only noun we have, we're going to now look for our adjective. What word tells me what kind of lion? What kind of lion? The huge lion. So huge is our adjective. So huge describes lion. So we're going to draw an arrow. Now we're going to go to our verb. Verb is walked. How did the lion walk? He walked how? Proudly. So proudly is our adverb that tells how he walked. Okay, that one was pretty easy. Look at your last one. James and Daniel built a red cart. Oh, this board. Okay, James and Daniel built a red cart. Now, see that that's very crooked, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to go through, first of all, we're going to find our verb, our action word. What's our action in that sentence? Built, right? 2 lines, built. Now, who built? Let's find our subject. Who built? James, Daniel. Not and, but just James and just Daniel. So those are our subjects. Now, let's go through and let's find our nouns. So we know that James and Daniel are nouns. They're proper nouns, right? What else? Is there any other noun in the sentence? Cart. Good. Now that we found our nouns, let's go through and let's find our adjectives. Is there something that describes James and Daniel? Does it say what kind of James, what kind of Daniel? No. What about cart? What kind of cart? The red cart. So we're going to circle red. Red tells me what kind of cart. Okay, so we draw an arrow to cart. Now we're going to go to our verb. Which word describes how we built it? Is there a word that describes how we built it? There's only 2 words left, and an A. So they don't have an adverb in that sentence, okay? And that's okay. You don't have to have an adverb, all right? So I understand that was kind of tricky, but that's okay. We're going to, while we did it together, And that's actually big third grade work, so you'll be doing that a lot next year. But look at your dictation. It says, I have learned so much. I have learned so much. That's your sentence. I have learned so much. Does your sentence have what it needs at the beginning and the end? Okay. On the back, you're going to do page 290 all by yourself, where you have to find the adverbs and put them in the sentence. On number 2, you get to make up your own adjectives and put them in the story and make up your own story. So I think that would be kind of fun. You can make up your story, and then I want you to, both of your stories, and then I want you to read them to someone in your family. Okay? And I'll see you back here tomorrow for phonics.